At Sheldon, right?
It is.
All right. So I saw the movie that you're working on, The Electricity in Me.
Sure. Okay,
Right.
good.
So now let's get into The Electricity in Me. Can you tell me like what it is, like what you do, what's your role?
Yeah, I was the writer and director of The Electricity in Me. So,
Right. Yes.
and,
Yes.
I'm co-producer as well.
Okay, okay. I didn't see all, I just saw some of the movie and I know it's a real serious, it's a true story, am I correct?
It is, yeah.
Yes. So can you just give me just a little rundown about the story so for our readers?
Electricity in Me is a true story. It is about my birth mother, Joan Stockdale, who was Canadian, and she came to London aged 22. She was pregnant by her university professor, who was 50, who I think she idolized actually.
Yeah.
And she was on a theatre trip from the University of, or with the University of Regina, Saskatchewan.
Hmm.
And that part of Canada it's extremely rural. It is the prairies, and she moved to London. She came to London pregnant, and she didn't go home. I mean, she went home a few times,
Okay.
but
Saw
she
that.
stayed to give her baby up for adoption
Mm-hmm.
as a newborn, and it changed her fundamentally. She was never the same since. She lived her life. She made a new life in London. She met someone. She fell in love. She wanted to be a poet. She worked really hard at being a writing, but she was actually a secretary for the University of London. She didn't become a poet because she died at the age of 37 from breast cancer. I would have been 17 at the time. I didn't actually know of her death until I was 18.
Okay.
And the film dramatizes many of her thoughts that she poured out to her diaries, which I am lucky enough to have possession of. Most adopted kids don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredible gift, and these diaries are not just about they're not like social media, right? Every layer of her and who she is poured out onto these pages. She talks about love, she talks about food, she talks about the weather, she talks about her friends, she talks about work, she talks about sex, she talks about everything. The diaries are her true confidant, really.
Okay.
And the Electricity in Me attempted to capture her tone of voice and some of her story. And there's a quiet rage about her, a quiet desperation, and a resilience and a toughness in my birth mother, Joan. And that's what the film's about.
Okay. I was going to ask too, what you just kind of touched a little bit on was how did you come up with the title?
It was a line in an early draft which got cut, but it was really expressing an unknown, an unseen, an impossible link to someone you've never met, but there is something there that you know that is real, that is true, a form of energy, something. Some people might say spiritual, some other people might say an empathy, but it's a form of it's a form of connection, really. That's what the title means to me. I don't know who said it, but someone said a film title should be the start of a story. It
Mhm.
should be the start of the film, which I thought was a great piece of advice, actually. Even if it's an obscure prologue, it could be the start of the film. And um, yeah, that's what the title's. Well,
Okay.
that's what the title means to me.
Okay. Yeah. And just by you talking about the diaries and all the readings, that'll be something that you can have to get to really know her, have a piece of her with you as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they're extremely detailed.
Hmm.
They talk about stuff in a way that that you wouldn't tell your best friend. Actually, some of it actually is kind of explicit. Some of it is mundane. So yeah, I'm lucky to have that.
Okay, yeah. This is just off from just listening to you talk. Do you have anything about yourself, your characters, about you as you started reading the diaries, thinking, that's some similar things that I do. I'm like,
Studied theatre at
oh,
university. I didn't know that until my late 30s, mid to late 30s, but I studied theatre at university,
Okay.
and my birth father taught. He was a theatre academic and professor of theatre. I didn't know
Okay.
that till my early 40s. She was pretty stubborn, right? She did things her way.
Mm-hmm.
She could have stayed home and had the baby, though actually in Canadian society at that time, if you were a pregnant woman, you were not deemed fit to be a mother, particularly if you were a white pregnant woman. You were not considered fit to be
Really?
someone who should raise a child, and the government systematically um, engaged in a funded program of coercing children, um, coercing pregnant mothers to give up their babies for adoption. And there was a report done by the Canadian Senate in 2018. The Washington Post reported on it, as did many other leading national publications, and they said it was like, but basically it was like The Handmaid's Tale. It was like living in Gilead. That if you
Mm.
couldn't raise a child in the way that we want a child to be raised, i.e., in a nuclear family with a mother and a father in a Christian household, if you couldn't do that, we're going to find a way to get you to a convent and have people tell you you're unfit to be a mother.
Mm.
What you're doing is bad for the child, and your baby shouldn't be with you. And this happened to 300,000 or 400,000 women. This is why I believe that Joan did not stay in Canada, and she went to London to give up the baby for adoption, to have more of a link. She still didn't have a child, but she
Mm-hmm.
had more of a link with her son through the agency, who at least gave her some information, gave her photographs and all the rest of it. If you're in Canada, this didn't happen. You were told never to look for your baby. It would be bad for your child. You should never look for it, and you should just let it go, basically.
Mm. Okay.
So she was tough, right? So she was
Very
resilient,
tough.
um, and
Resilient. Very tough.
yeah, she was stoic, and she was passionate, and I, I'd like to think there's a bit of her in me, certainly.
Yeah, that's
That was a
okay.
very long answer.
That was fine. That is fine. One of the last things, tell me about the production, like who played her, the characters.
The character of Joan is played by Alora Torkia.
Mhm.
Alora was a BAFTA Breakthrough Artist last year. She's been a Screen Star of Tomorrow, which is an important industry recognition of her talent. There's many, like, now superstars who have been nominated to be a Screen Star of Tomorrow. She was BIFA nominated last year. She's a beautiful soul, an amazing actor, and yeah, we were incredibly lucky to have her.
So when will we be able to? That will be coming out. Like, can we get it over here soon?
Yeah, it'll be available on streaming in I would say mid-January 23.
Okay, and we'll be able to get it here.
100%.
Yes. All right. All right. So that'll be something to share to our readers. And we also have a TV show that we do in here
Oh,
in
really? Oh, wow.
yes, in Ohio area. So we will definitely be able to share it and to get the word out for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for speaking with me today. And I'm gonna
No
go
problem.
watching the rest of the movie. Yeah, I just been busy to get to watch
Okay.
all of it, but I'm gonna go finish watching the rest of it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, good luck to you. Yes. All right.
And to you too.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.